Okay, in this section we're going to work on simplifying radicals, square roots, and other radicals. So first thing is the product property. Anytime you have something under the square root that you can write as the product of two numbers, for example, we can write the square root of 50 as the square root of 25 times the square root of 2. You can separate it out like that. And the reason we'd want to do that is to look for perfect squares within the number that we're trying to simplify. Because the square root of 25 simplifies to 5, this is now 5 to the square root of 2. And you can break it down into anything that multiplied together equals what you had to start with. So let's look at another example of this. Let's say we have the square root of 8 times 2 the square root of 4. Okay, well, the square root of 8 is not a perfect square. Now the square root of 4 is a perfect square, so I could just simplify that right now if I want to. So I actually have the square root of 8 times 2 times 2. So it's 4 the square root of 8. I'm going to put the 4 out in front of the square root. Okay, but now the square root of 8, there's a perfect square in 8. 8 is 4 times 2. So this actually simplifies to, I still have my 4 out here, 4 times the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. But again, the square root of 4 is 2, so that's 4 times 2 times the square root of 2, or 8 the square root of 2. Okay, you try this one. Okay, so again, 75 is 25 times 3. Well, the square root of 25 is 5, so that's 5 the square root of 3. Now, this also works with quotients. So in other words, I can have the square root of 49 over 36, that's a quotient, and I can separate that out and say it's the square root of 49 over the square root of 36. Well, the square root of 49 is 7, the square root of 36 is 6. What if you have a quotient, though, where you only have a square root on the bottom? So let's say we have 2 over the square root of 5. Okay, we can't leave a square root in the denominator. It's not considered to be simplified when you leave a square root in the denominator. So we have to do what's called rationalize the denominator. And in order to do that, you multiply your top and bottom by this square root. Because if you multiply top and bottom, that's like multiplying by 1, and it doesn't actually change it, because we know we multiply by 1, it doesn't change. 2 times 1 is still 2. Okay, so that's why you have to do top and bottom. Well, on the top, you get 2 the square root of 5. On the bottom, you get the square root of 25, which is 5. Okay, so when you multiply a square root times itself, you get what's underneath. Okay, and so there that is simplified. That's called rationalizing the denominator. Okay, so let's try another one. Let's say we have 3 over the square root of 2. Okay, well, again, I want to get rid of the square root in the bottom, so I do top and bottom. So I end up with 3 the square root of 2, and square root of 2 times square root of 2 is 2. So there's your answer there. Okay, so you try this one. Okay, so what is that going to equal? Well, you're going to multiply top and bottom by the square root of 5, so you're going to have 3 the square root of 5 over 5. You might start seeing a pattern with those pretty simple ones. Okay, so let's add some variables in here. Let's say I have the square root of 17x over the square root of 20. Well, what am I going to do then? Well, you still can't leave a square root in the denominator. You could simplify this square root a little bit first, because 20 is 4 times 5. Okay, and that would make it a little easier, smaller numbers to work with. So I would suggest doing that if you can. So the square root of 20 is the square root of 4 times the square root of 5. So you actually have 2 the square root of 5 in the denominator. Well, now I just need to multiply top and bottom by the square root of 5 to rationalize the denominator. And 17 times 5 is, let's see, 50, and 35 is 85. So it's the square root of 85x over 2 times 5. So that's the square root of 85x over 10. And that's your answer. 10 answer there. Okay. What if your denominator is not just a single square root? So maybe we have something like this. 8 over 6 minus the square root of 3. To rationalize a denominator that has something added or subtracted like this, you have to multiply top and bottom by the same thing again, but you multiply by what's called the conjugate. Okay, the conjugate takes these same expressions, the 6 and the square root of 3, but you change the sign. If it was minus, it's plus. If it's plus, it's minus. And we multiply the top and the bottom by the same thing. Okay, so remember that there's a plus or a minus in between these, so we actually have to FOIL. Okay, now on top we're just going to distribute the 8. So we have 8 times 6, which is 48, and then 8 times the square root of 3, which is just 8 to the square root of 3. Okay, on the bottom, this is what happens. 6 times 6 is 36. Then we have plus 6 to the square root of 3, and then minus 6 to the square root of 3. When we add these two together, they cancel out. That's why you do the conjugate. So the middle terms cancel out, and you don't have the square roots anymore. Okay? And then the last times the last, negative 3. Because it's square root of 9, again, that's 3. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 is 3. So we get 48 plus 8 to the square root of 3 over 33. Now, when you're trying to simplify something like this, you've got to make sure if you take something out of one of these, you take it out of all of them. Do these all have something in common? Well, this is 3 times 11. That doesn't have a 3 or 11 in it, so we're done. That's simplified. Okay? So, you try this one. Okay, so you're going to multiply top and bottom by 1 minus the square root of 3. 1 minus the square root of 3. So on top you're going to distribute the 2. You get 2 minus 2 to the square root of 3. On the bottom, again you're foiling it, but the middle terms are going to drop out. So you just have 1 times 1, which is 1. Square root of 3 times square root of 3, which is 3. And it's always going to be minus there because you have a plus and a minus. So that's always going to be minus for your second one. So you have 2 minus 2 to the square root of 3 all over a negative 2. Now that does simplify because these all have a 2 in them. In fact, you could divide them all by a negative 2 if you want. But dividing them all by 2, we get 1 minus 1 the square root of 3 over negative 1. Well, instead of having the negative 1 there, we just divide out and change it to negative 1 plus the square root of 3. Okay, you need to do problems 1 through 20 all. Okay, I take that back. We need to do one more example with variables. So let's say we have the square root of 18, a to the 5th, b to the 4th, c to the 7th. Okay? You simplify the square root of 18 just like you would before when we did square root of 20 or whatever. The point here is, again, you can actually separate these out. It's the square root of 18, square root of a to the 5th, square root of b to the 4th, and so on. Okay. Now, when you're taking a square root, it's what times itself will equal that. So when you have powers on variables, a square root is really like having a 2 here. It's actually to the 1/2 power. So any even power, we actually just divide these by whatever we have here. It's a square root, so it's a 2. And whatever's left over stays under the square root, and the rest of it comes out. So anyway, this is the square root of 9 times 2. Well, that's 3, the square root of 2. That's the square root of 18. Okay. Then we have the square root of the rest of this. A to the 5th, b to the 4th, c to the 7th. Well, if we take 5 and divide it by 2, we get 2 with 1 left over. So that means an a squared comes out, so we have 3a squared, and we leave underneath an a. Well, you also have a 2 under there, so we're going to keep that under there, but we put an a under there. Now let's do the b to the 4th. Well, 4 divided by 2, that goes in evenly. So that's just b squared out here. And if you think about it, b squared times b squared is b to the 4th. Okay, now c to the 7th, 7 divided by 2, that goes in 3 times. That means I'm going to have c to the 3rd out here. C to the 3rd times c to the 3rd is c to the 6th. Well, c to the 6th leaves 1 c underneath. Okay, and so you can think about this like, you know, this is a to the 4th times a. That's b to the 4th. This is c to the 6th times c. Well, this can come out as a squared. This can come out as b squared. This can come out as c cubed. What you have left underneath then is your a and your c with the 2. So this is your final answer on that one. Okay, now do problems 1 through 20.